Nathan Zegura here with a game preview edition of the 2-Minute Drill brought to you by University Hospitals. This Sunday at First Energy Stadium, it's the 1-1 Cleveland Browns taking on the 1-1 visiting Chicago Bears. And for the Browns, they look to stay efficient on offense. Quarterback Baker Mayfield leading the NFL in completion percentage over 81% right now and second in the league at 10.9 yards per attempt. Look for Baker to remain accurate against a very tough Chicago Bears defense. Now, this is a D that can get after the quarterback. The good news is, though, Baker, the #1 quarterback in the NFL on quick passes. 24 of 25 so far this season, 260 yards and 1 touchdown, averaging over 10 yards per attempt in balls getting out under 2 seconds. That neutralizes a pass rush, and that's a good thing because the Bears can get after the quarterback. They've got Khalil Mack on one side, Robert Quinn on the other, Akeem Hicks in the middle. This is a defense that's good at all 3 levels. Roquan Smith, one of the most productive linebackers in the league at that second level, and on the back end, Jalen Johnson, the cornerback, enters this game as the #3 graded corner at Pro Football Focus, and Eddie Jackson remains one of the premier safeties in the NFL. This is a Bear defense that had 4 takeaways and a defensive touchdown a week ago. The Browns, they have turned the ball over in each of those first 2 games. That's something they've got to eliminate. Getting a clean sheet on offense will go a long way to winning for the Browns. After all, Cleveland has never lost a game under head coach Kevin Stefanski in which they did not turn the football over. Now, in addition to what Baker's been doing through the air, you can always turn it around and hand it off to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. The Browns right now, 7 rushing touchdowns through 2 games, most in the NFL. Nick Chubb himself averaging about 7 yards a carry. Now, when the Bears have the ball, it will be Justin Fields, the rookie first-rounder, making his first NFL start, returning to the state of Ohio, where he became a household name with the Ohio State Buckeyes. Last week, Fields struggled in relief of the injured Andy Dalton. The Bengals got after him with a lot of blitzes, and I could see the Browns taking a similar tack today. Now, this Bears offense has an excellent running back in terms of David Montgomery, averaging about 100 total yards per game. They've got good receivers, Allen Robinson, a perennial Pro Bowler, and Darnell Mooney, who really can get down the field vertically. So the Browns have to make sure they don't give up those big shots. Fields not afraid to throw the ball down the field, whereas before, Andy Dalton was not really pushing it vertically, and they're going to have to contain him. Scrambling quarterbacks have given the Browns trouble so far this year. Mahomes, Tyrod Taylor each have rushing touchdowns on scrambles against this Browns defense, and they must contain Justin Fields, especially on 3rd downs. Now, how do they do that? I mentioned before, you can do some blitzing. You need to get that good interior push. And the good news for the 2 Maliks is that 14 of the 17 pressures allowed by the Bears offensive line this season have come from the guards and the center. That interior push, Miles, Clowney, McKinley around the end, that will be good. And the Browns, I imagine, might even do some spying. This could be a game for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and Grant Delpit. Remember last week, Delpit's NFL debut had a huge sack on a blitz. This is a guy who was a perennial sack master while at LSU, despite playing in the secondary. Had more than 5 sacks in one of his seasons there with the LSU Tigers, and the Browns already seeing him kind of unleashed in that role. And for Delpit, it was a long time coming. Yes, the Browns have added some serious athleticism on that defensive side of the ball, and they're going to need it to try to contain Fields. But at the end of the day, this is all this game is about. 2 things. Number 1, taking care of the football on offense, and number 2, getting off the field on 3rd downs. If the Browns do that, they will beat the Chicago Bears. And to help the defense on 3rd downs, that's where you come in. Browns fans, you were sensational in week number 2. You were in at kickoff. You were loud. It gave me goosebumps being there in front of the best fans in all of professional sports, so bring it again this Sunday. And don't forget, starting on Sunday at 11 a.m., Browns Countdown will bring you everything you need to know to get ready for this game from First Energy Stadium. John Doss, the top dog, Hanford Dixon, Gerard Cherry, and myself getting you ready for week 3 as the Browns look to get to 2-1. This has been a game preview edition of the 2-Minute Drill brought to you by University Hospitals.